I'm at the Giorno's Pizza out in Tinley Park. We're looking at their transformer circuit breaker panel that feeds circuits for the trucks. And what we're going to take a look at here is the way that the installer originally hooked up the power cords for the trucks. These are hooked up to 40 amp circuit breakers. They're 30 amp single phase plugs, and as you can see, for some reason they put greenfield around the SO power cord. Greenfield is not meant for outdoors, could trap water inside and possibly deteriorate that cord. I hate to think how the operation of this in the wintertime when that freezes and you have. So anyway, we're going to remove that greenfield from around the cord. We're going to mount EPICs out here, electrical power interruption controls. Another thing you can see is there's no disconnect switches on any of these cords. Now, however, the electrical code doesn't say at this point you need to have disconnect switches at these posts. And the reason being, and you could see that we have something like 15 spots going down this lot. The reason being, the code says that you can use a circuit breaker to de-energize this power cord as long as the circuit breaker panel is within sight of the plug. The question is, will a driver come all the way back from that end of the lot to turn off the circuit breaker? Generally, they're turning the power cords on and off energized, and therefore we're also going to put the EPICs on with the on-off switch located on the EPIC. Well, as you can see, we have the unit strut mounted, so we can get the EPIC mounted in place. Basically, we're just going to slide the EPIC in place on the unit strut. Just a matter of tightening it down onto the unit strut. If you're going to mount purely on concrete, just use some anchor bolts right into the concrete. So because this is round, we didn't have any place to make that attachment. Now this is the power cord. You can see there's no disconnect here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you de-energize the power, of course. We're going to take this power cord and we're going to interrupt it. We're going to have the power cord flow through the EPIC. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take approximation, power cord here, a little bit excess wire so we can tie it into the control on the EPIC. So we're going to cut the power cord in half. Now you got power cord coming from the power source, power cord going to the truck. Now we're going to address these terminals. We're going to have to put ring terminals on the power cord side, on the power side, and we'll put spade terminals on the power cord to the truck side. Power to the EPIC comes in through the bottom. Power from the cord to the truck goes out the front, as you'll see in just a moment. Now you can see this EPIC. I got the power coming from the power source, routed in the bottom. You can see it routed in the bottom. Ring terminals going to the right hand side of that controller, the contactor. The power cord that plugs into the truck will route through the cord grip on the cover. It's coming through the cord grip on the cover. It's got the push-on terminals. So we're going to make a push-on connection to the ground connection. We're going to get a connection for line 1, line 2. And you can see there's just a plug-in connection there. We want it to be a plug-in connection, so if the driver does pull away with this plugged in, it's just going to simply slip out of the cord grip and unplug. We'll adjust the rubber grommet up to the top, tighten it down. There's been some testing done. How tight should you tighten that nut? It's 3 turns from the time that the threads engage. If you go too tight, well, maybe the cord won't pull out of there. If you go too loose, maybe water will get in. So 3 full turns. Basically, you put it in place, put your screws in place, the Epic is installed. On this particular model, because there was no disconnect originally to turn the power off to the power cord, what we did is we put a little toggle switch on the side here, on-off toggle, and what that toggle does basically is turn the power on and turn the power off to the plug that plugs into the truck. The last step after you get the cover on and the screws in place, the last step would be to tie this power cord to what I'm going to call the activating bracket. There's a little switch under the bottom here. You're supposed to push the switch in, push the activating bracket in. There's a little round hole that seats it, and then you just pretty much kind of adjust the power cord into the activating bracket. And as you can see on the one on the left here, you just pretty much tether the activating bracket to the power cord. Now there's a new generation activating bracket that's pretty much a piece of angle that comes out. The activating bracket is just a little angle, and the power cord ties to the angled activating bracket. So now, if the driver pulls away with the cord still plugged in and energized, the activating bracket is pulled out, de-energizes the cord. So that's basically the installation for an Epic.